Welcome back, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to Brownlow Books, where it is somewhat spooky book month, because I am a big old fucking wuss. Okay, so today, I've read Rosemary's Baby by Ira Levin? Is that how I say it? Levin? I'm gonna assume Levin. Coincidentally, this was a book club pick, making all of my classics for the year also horror, and also from book club, which is a thing. Yes, I am dressed as a bat again. Just in case you're like, what the fuck is up with her hood? That's what the fuck is up with my hood. Okay. Rosemary's Baby. Turn. Yeah. I'm not going to hold this up the whole time because, oh my god, the reflections. Right? So I read Rosemary's Baby, Ira Levin. I did actually read this 50th anniversary edition, making it published in 1967, which is why it is a classic. Don't come at me. I feel like most people have the general idea of what this book is. A couple moves into a building, their neighbors are creepy, woman gets pregnant, gives birth to the devil's baby. Right? Like, it was made into a movie in 1968, and I feel like most people have at least heard of it. Although my husband hadn't, so I guess, you know, varying levels of interest and knowledge, which is a given. You can't expect everyone to be universally informed, right? So, I don't have a lot of notes on this book, to be entirely honest. My biggest note about it is the fucking anti-Semitism that runs throughout. Yeah, at one point, one of her friends says that she looks like Miss Concentration Camp 1966, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. What the fuck? Yeah. So, yes. As you would expect from 60s America, anti-Semitism. What you would also expect is the whole entire basis of this is that everyone calls Rosemary hysterical and crazy. She's a pregnant woman. She's gone hysterical. Just like this book is about gaslighting. Is what the fuck it is. All right. This entire book is just people gaslighting Rosemary. Except for her friends who lock her into the kitchen and are like, "What the fuck, bitch?" And like, yes, good friends. Although maybe see her a little bit more because, you know. So yeah, some things I did enjoy about it were like the subtle references to like occult folklore, basically. Like Rosemary develops a very high like aversion to salt and salty foods and like revulsions, like can't even think about it, like real bad. And I'm just like, I wonder why. Little things like that, and like just the way she used to be a good Catholic girl, but then she married a Protestant, and the family went out, and just everything all together. I was just like, wow. She knew something was wrong, and everyone was like, "Nah, bitch, you're cool." And yeah, the gaslighting, insane. But I mean, not much has changed since the 60s, huh? Women are hysterical. They've gone crazy. Oh my god. Yeah. I was like, it's amazing how old this book is and can still feel relevant if you change a few of the pop culture references to like right fucking now. Yeah. So, that is, that felt really bad for Hutch. I am like a month past reading this book when I'm recording this. The details are not fully there. Yeah, Hutch, I want to say the friend's name is Hutch. Felt real bad for him. He was like, "Oh, that building is haunted. Oh, your neighbors are weird. Oh, why are you feeling this way? We should do this for you." And it's just like all these things, like Hutch wants to try to make her feel better and like wants to help her and is like, something is not fucking right here with you guys. Like, what the fuck is going on? And he's doing all this research and then, oh yeah, the Satanist killer. Kill him. And I'm like, the only person in the book that I liked. That's typical. Am I right? Yeah. So I don't know. It's just, the book plays out like a movie in front of me, and I have not seen the movie. Mostly because I do not want to engage with anything to do with Roman Polanski. But, yeah, I've never seen the movie. But my friend who has seen the movie was like, it played out pretty much like the movie, just with, like, more details. But she's like, I could, like, see it in my head playing. So she's like, that was kind of cool. And I was like, that's kind of neat that, like, they were that true to it if they were. So that's kind of cool. Also made the movie in, like, a year, which I guess was more typical of Hollywood in the 60s with, you know, less regulations and shit. Just ripping apart the 60s here. Why am I doing that? Can't do anything about it. Okay, so yes, all of that kind of stuff. As I said, it was book club. So while we were discussing in book club, one of my friends brought up, well, they were discussing in general Guy, Rosemary's husband. And they were like, how does that conversation go for Satanists to come to him and be like, yo, the devil wants to fuck your wife and have a baby. You cool with that? We'll give you a big, good career out of it. And he just goes, yeah, okay. But, like, I didn't feel like I read it that way. Like, yeah, Guy's kind of a dick. I mean, older man with an impressionable younger woman. 60s. Yeah, I didn't see Guy's involvement as, like, willing and complicit. I saw it more, like, for a while I was like, man, why the fuck did Guy agree to this? Like, what the fuck? Your career cannot be worth this, right? But then there was, like, something said at some point. Like I said, I am a month out from reading this, so I don't remember exactly what it was. But there was just this little moment where something was said where I went, I think Guy was just as manipulated as Rosemary is. Like, I don't think he's complicit in this. I think he has been manipulated and taken advantage of, and, like, something not right happened with Guy, too, to be able to, for them to get Rosemary. I don't remember what it was, and I'm not gonna reread the book to find out, like, just to be honest. But yeah, there was just something that I was like, this doesn't feel like he's involved. Like, he just... Like, how do you agree to let the devil have sex with your wife? Like, what the fuck is that? You know? So anyways, yeah, there was a point at some point that I was like, I don't think he's involved in this the way that, like, it's kind of played out. And then, like, towards the very end, when she comes into the room and find out the baby's still there and, like, goes to, like, the bassinet and whatever, and he just kind of, like, you know, averts his eyes kind of thing, I was just like, okay, so, like, he knows he did something, but, like, maybe wasn't fully aware of what was happening. Like, almost like he was, like, I don't know, charmed or something? Like they did something to make him, like, real complicit. Because I do feel like Guy is kind of weak of character to begin with. Like, just as a person, like, he's an actor. He can spin all these lines about things all the time. And he can make people believe things. But then, like, so he's just, like, kind of morally gray to begin with. And then, like, doesn't have, like, a strong character because he plays so many other characters kind of thing. So, like, maybe that makes him weak, and so they were able to just, like, whoop, we're in here, you know, I guess I don't know, it's just fucking weird. It was a weird book. Like, the whole time I was reading it, I was like, this is a horror book? It's just the horrors about being a woman, isn't it? And I was, like, waiting, and I'm like, I thought this was, like, a spooky book. I thought this was supposed to be, like, scary and suspenseful, and it's just kind of, like, the the minutia of day-to-day life of this pregnant woman. I was like, okay, yeah, your hips hurt. Yeah, you're carrying a fucking child, you know? Like, I just kept waiting for, like, something to happen. And then it was like, oh, the baby's dead. And I'm like, no, it's not. There's no way it is. Like, come on. Like, I don't think you can go into this not expecting it to be the devil's baby, you know? You know the story. It's that old. But anyways, yeah. So, like, going in and being like, okay, where's the spooky? Where's the scary? And then, like, you reach that end and it's just, like, her walking into the room and, like, they're all there. And so, like, she's like, I want to see the baby. And so she, like, sees the baby and lets her see the baby. And I'm just like, I thought about jumping out the window with him. I'm like, bitch, do it. Bitch, do it. And then she's just like, oh, baby. And I'm like, oh, fuck. That was the scary part. Oh, look at this tiny demon in a bassinet. It's my baby. I'm going to raise it. Like, what? Yeah. So that to me was the, like, literally, like, the last 3 sentences, which, like, good fucking job. Very, like, Shirley Jackson of you. It's just the time period of these horror things, am I right? Like, get the way they build up, and then it's just, like, that hard kick. Yeah. But it was just like, no, jump out the window. What are you doing? So, yeah. That was kind of... But then, book club, we also got to discussing. We like to go off on tangents and weird hypotheticals and shit. And we're like, okay, Rosemary's a good person. So, like, if they're letting her help raise this baby, because it's like, oh, it's my baby, I love him. Like, it kind of comes to, like, a whole nature versus nurture kind of thing, right? It's like, it is the devil's baby, but Rosemary is a good person. You know, a former Catholic, like, does nice things. Maybe Rosemary's just not as nice as she seems. We don't know. We literally don't know. We're in her head, but we don't know. So, like, yeah, there's a whole bunch of, like, well, it's the devil's baby, but what if Rosemary is raising the devil's baby? I do understand that there's a second book in this series, which even my friend did not know. I think it was called Rosemary's Child, if I'm thinking correctly. It is not a lot of reads on that one. But yeah, so I don't know if any of us are actually going to read it or not. I'm definitely not. But it was just kind of like, what? Is it going to be like him going to school for the first time? Like, it's just also bizarre. Like, you have this tiny demon child with horns coming out of his fucking head. Like, fucking hooves. Like, what the fuck are you gonna... What the fuck are you gonna do? You can't take that to the playground. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Yeah, it was a little mundane read with a whoa at the end. I didn't hate it. I liked it more than I thought I would. I am apparently in my horror era. Who fucking knew? I've read more horror this year than I think I have since I was like 12 and devouring Goosebumps and Fear Street. Like, what? So yes, if you're into classic horror, absolutely give it a read. If you're into, you know, blood and guts, gruesome horror, like, it is not gonna be for you, like, at all. But, yeah, if you want to take a classic off your list, it's not that long, it's not a difficult read, it's well written. It is highly anti-Semitic. Yeah. I don't know if it would be for everyone. Because, like I said, it is that slow build. And some people are just like, nah, pull a skull out of the swamp, right? So, my new reference for everything. Pull a skull out of the swamp, that's how we start. Okay. Yeah, so, like, it's classic, it's good. I saw a comment on a comment on a review that someone didn't know that there was a movie based on the book, and I'm just like, it's one of the, like, classic horror movies from the 60s. Like, what? My friend did tell me there's a very graphic and comical scene in the movie when Rosemary is being raped by the devil. And so they have like a rubber devil suit, and it's just bizarre and takes you out of the whole moment. Like, what? But like back then there was probably like, oh my god. I think this book would have had more impact in the 60s because there was still a lot more like hardcore religion. Like, people were still going to church every single week, sometimes every day. Those people are crazy. Anyways, I feel like when you have a stronger connection to your religion, this might have been scarier, specifically if you were like Catholic. But like, I don't have a fear of like the devil. That sounds bizarre. It's not, because it's an imaginary character to me the same way that God is, right? Like, so like I don't see it the way that someone who might actually like fear that as part of their religion would. So maybe that's why it didn't have as much of an impact on me. It was those like last few lines of like, I'm raising my baby, he's the devil. You're just like, what the fuck? Like, you wanted to have a baby that bad that you're like, yeah, I raised the devil's baby. Like, what? Bizarre. Anyways, I am to the point of rambling for 15 freaking minutes now. So, Goodreads, it has over 135,000 reviews, or ratings rather. 4.03 stars. So like, solid. And those, I often like to look at like the lower ratings to see why people didn't like it, but I didn't this time, but my guess is going to be so unrealistic. You can see that coming a mile away. Like, yes, it's the synopsis on the book. So yeah, there are some people it's going to be for, some people it's not going to be for, and that's that. So thank you for joining me again for Somewhat Spooky Book Month book review of Rosemary's Baby. I will see you next week for another somewhat spooky book. Maybe. Might actually be spooky. Who knows? All right. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you around next time. Don't remember to like, subscribe, and share. And is there other things? If there's other things, do those too. All right. See you next time.